In addition to manually scheduling shows, you can configure the TMS to automatically schedule SPLs, based on the show timing set in a point-of-sale ticketing system, also known as a POS. This feature allows the TMS to read the show times directly from the POS, and schedule the shows accordingly. In this tutorial, we will explain how to configure the POS settings for the TMS-2000. Please take note of the time markers provided on screen. They will help you quickly scan and navigate to a specific section within this tutorial video. Schedules can be added to cinema screens, to match the show times exported from the POS system. In order to configure the POS settings, go to the Tools menu, and click on Preferences. Double-click on the POS icon within the Preferences window. The POS pop-up window will be shown. Here, make sure that the Enable POS Sync Manager option is checked. Under the General section, select a POS vendor from the drop-down menu, based on the ticketing system that has been set up for your cinema. Please refer to the TMS-2000 User Manual, for the complete list of POS vendors supported by the TMS. The POS URL field points to the location where the ticketing system periodically exports its POS data. Depending on the POS system used, you can enter the URL and other required information under the General section of the POS window. The TMS will sync this data periodically, according to the time interval value which is mentioned in the refresh timing field. In this example, we have set the refresh interval to 5 minutes. This means that the TMS will look for updated POS data every 5 minutes. Along with the POS settings, this window also provides some advanced configuration options, which are available under the Advanced tab. The Auto Create Schedule If Show is Mapped option ensures that the scheduled shows are generated automatically by the TMS during the next POS sync. Make sure that this option is enabled. You can also set the number of days up to which the schedules should be created, based on data available from the POS system. Furthermore, you can specify the time when schedules should be recreated on a day-to-day basis, and also prevent recreation of those schedules which are bound to start in the specified number of hours. The scheduled shows that were generated based on the POS data can also be deleted automatically from the TMS, once they have been removed from the POS. To do so, make sure the Auto Delete Mapped Schedule If POS Show is Removed option is enabled. Additionally, if the Do Not Purge Past Scheduled Shows from POS option is enabled, the TMS will not delete past schedules from the server, which were generated based on the POS data. The Auto SPL tab provides configuration options related to the TMS template system. These options will be discussed in a separate tutorial video, which explains the TMS-2000 template system in detail. The Edge Scheduling tab allows you to set an SPL as the opening show, which will be played in all screens before the first scheduled show of the day. Additionally, you can also set an SPL as the closing show, which will be played in all screens after the last scheduled show of the day. Values for the offset interval before the first show, as well as the offset interval after the last show, can be mentioned in minutes. The Automator tab allows you to execute automation queues on the server, based on certain events related to sale of tickets in the POS system. To enable this feature, select the Enable Automator option. Using this drop-down menu, you can choose whether the POS show time, or the scheduled show time, should be considered as the start time for the show. The ticket sale URL field points to the location where the POS system periodically exports its ticket sales data. Depending on the POS system used, you can enter the URL and other required information under the Automator tab of the POS window. The TMS will monitor the POS data every minute for any changes. There are two options which can be used to trigger the specified automation queue, using the Automator function. The first option allows you to trigger the specified automation queue, in case of any ticket sale in the POS system, before the start of a scheduled show. The second option allows you to trigger specified automation queues, in case of any ticket sale in the POS system, after the start of a scheduled show. You need to mention the time interval value in minutes, and the name of the automation queue to be executed, for both these options. Ensure that the automation queue name mentioned here has already been pre-configured, and exactly matches with what is displayed on the server. Click on the OK button, once you have configured the POS settings. In order to activate these POS settings, you need to exit and restart the TMS software. Please note that if the POS Sync Manager is enabled, the TMS will automatically sync POS supplied data from the mentioned URL, after the TMS software restarts. In case this feature is disabled, the POS Sync Manager will stop updating POS data after the TMS restarts, but previous POS data will still be available. This tutorial is now complete. Thank you for watching.